It is a film to the year 1961. It was directed and adapted um, to the cinema by Stanley Kubrick and was based on the homonymous novel by Anthony Burgess, published in 1962. The story takes place in future Britain. A sociopath and violent criminal Alex Delorge is imprisoned and convicted for murder and rape. While in prison, Alex learned of an experimental program created by the government in which convicts are reeducated.
In this character, Alex Delarge, we can see the clear representation of youthful rebellion from why it originates to the acts that he commit with his druggies. That is the name of the band of ultraviolence. Um, he had a brainwashing that is caused by himself. He tries to reintegrate. He tries a reintegration into the society. That later this same society rejected him, and this is a total criticism, not only of the rebellion, but also of the society and all its members. Many people are raped by this gang, and this behavior is normal. From one moment to the next, it cannot be corrected. So, Ludovico's treatment is super arbitrary because it takes away from Alex the possibility of design. He can't decide of his life. It's not because he magically wants to be good. It's because the medicine that they gave him, plus the movies and the music that they used against him, literally turned Alex into a machine that doesn't work of his own. On the outside, it seems natural, but inside, it's like a computer that, despite his still dark thoughts, they simply tell him what to do. And if he hadn't taken the treatment, perhaps in his 14 years of sentence, he will change. He will have changed and will also have the moral to decide. But he can't decide.
The interior minister, like a representative of the government that only care about money and power, the minister promotes the Ludovico treatment to solve the problems of crime without taking into account the ethical issues involved the priest, representative of the Catholic Church. He only believes in rehabilitation, through repentance, and God forgiveness. He is the biggest opponent of the Ludovico treatment that defends that everyone has to be responsible for their actions and be able to make their own decisions, good or bad. The position of the camera, in conjunction with the architecture and the lights that are presented in the essence, rebel for feelings that occur in the protagonist, like the lights that is seen in the Ludovico treatment. The great that everything is seen in the present, the colors and the psychedelic surroundings in Alex's house, etc.
The architecture and the color in the movie are amazing because at the end of the 60s, the fashion and the color went from being modest to being explosive. For example, the hippie movement, the mini skirt, the pop art, all of this made a fierce thing. The people start to feel liberated and rebellious. And this is something that we see in the Drugies, in the group of Alex. And a second thing, um, the experimental will going to be used in absolutely everything. For example, the cinema, the music, the theater, and in this case, the experimental exists in the location of this film. For example, the director uses bright colors, backgrounds, futuristic costumes, and futuristic things. Um, at the same time, these things are very fashion in the 70s, in the 60s and 70s. Mm, Also, the director uses accessories not often seen in the markets of that of this place and that time. Um, Stanley Kubrick, who is the director, plays with colors, many colors, and those colors borders on the bizarre and the psychedelic, and this is definitely very 70s. I think this movie is a masterpiece. Mm, why? Mm, the scenes, the soundtrack, the script, the characters, the plot, everything is incredible. Mm, the people in the 70s said that it, it was a movie that promote the violence and the bad acts. And all this controversy ended in the prohibition of the movie in some countries of Europe and North America. And that was what caused the curiosity of the spectators. Mm, Another thing that caught my attention was the slang. The slang is called natsat. This slang was created by the writer of the original book. Um, uh, his name is Anthony Burgess. This slang uses words like drugo, which mean friend, tolchokiar, which means to hit, Gulliver, which mean uh, head, head, and jarbles, which means testicles. It's a slang that it's funny, and it's also a badge of the movie. Mm, the movie is controversial in every way. In the 70s, it was not normal to hear the word ultraviolence or see nudity, or see basically a strong plot. Well, however, the movie became in a cult. The critics said that the movie caused all kind of reaction and feelings. Um, it's normal because it's a very strong movie. It's heavy, very heavy. Um, One more recommendation of my part is, if you're a fan of the controversial and extravagant things, you should see A Clockwork Orange and open more your repertoire of movies.
Personal opinion. Alex and the beginning in the film uh, represents the nature man in a pure free will. But throughout the film, he loses all his sadism and thinks before acting, thus losing his free will. And in the last moments, he demonstrated that mentally nothing has disappeared. His sadism and his addiction to the sex is still there, along with this fascination for the classical music, thus becoming a civilized man.
I was cured all right.
I'm singing in the rain.